Why CAPA systems and processes fail. My name is Steve Glassville. I'm the head of consultancy here at Valto. In a previous role, I was a trained quality ISO 9001 auditor. So firstly, let's look at what we mean by CAPA. CAPA actually stands for Corrective Action, Preventive Action. When we talk about corrective actions, we may be talking about fixes that we make if we identify an issue, be it with a process or with a product. As an example, within a supply chain, we might see that there's an issue with a product. This could be caused by the incorrect screws being used or maybe the incorrect process documents being followed. Therefore, we need to put a corrective action into place to fix this, be it printing out the most latest processes and procedures or by changing the materials that are being used to put together that product. To understand what the corrective action needs to be, we'll go through a process of root cause analysis. This might be asking ourselves 5 whys, it might be going through 8 disciplines, but just looking at what's actually caused the issue, and then we understand what we need to correct. When we talk about preventive actions, we're talking about actions that will stop this from recurring in the future, or stop other issues occurring in the future. So we've talked about a potential example being that we would print out some new documents that show the current processes and procedures, and we make sure we keep them up to date. That's great for this corrective action, but what if we update the process again? We might fall into the same trap. Therefore, we may look at putting a preventive action into place, which is an automated notification to the supply chain manager every time a document is updated. Therefore, they'll be aware to print that document off, stop the supply chain, introduce that document to them, and then start the supply chain back up again. When we put preventive actions in place, we need to monitor those fixes. So it's all well and good saying that we've put an action in place and that's going to stop the issue from occurring. But what if it doesn't work? What if more issues occur? Or what if it only fixes 50% of the issues? Therefore, we need to monitor those fixes, and at a later stage, we need to verify that they're actually correct, and then we can take that off our list. This all goes together as part of a continuous improvement strategy within an organization. What we mean by this is that we'll continue to update processes, update our products, update our systems, so that we can continually make sure that the quality is at the forefront of everything that we do. Organizations have numerous different pain points, and these are some of the ones that we've came across when working with organizations out there during our workshops. We might see that there's a recurring set of quality issues, so the product is consistently incorrect, or things that are provided, be it documents, maybe continuously have spelling errors in place. This is poor quality, and we want to make sure that that's an issue that's resolved and it doesn't recur frequently. We may identify those issues and find that the resolution for the issues aren't quick. As we can imagine, if we were to shut a supply chain down because we had issues with a product, that's going to cause issues within the organization. So we want to make sure we resolve issues quickly. And if we're writing information into numerous different places, we might not be able to actually get the fix into place in a quick method. We may also have limited traceability. What this means is that we might have issues, but then we write them down somewhere and don't know where to find them. It might well be that we've got documents in place that we don't know where to find them. Issues with traceability means that if an auditor comes in, we can't show them an end-to-end process as to identifying the issue, correcting the issue, preventing the issue, etc. Another final pain point is lack of accountability. In some industries, there's a little bit of a blame game that might happen, and it may well be that the responsible party is the person on the supply chain, the engineer. It might be the engineering manager. It might be the document controller. And we don't have anyone that actually is taking ownership of that action and getting it fixed. They're all potentially pointing fingers at other people. Obviously, we don't want to get into the political side of things, but we want to make sure that someone takes accountability and someone fixes that process end to end, because quality is key. This also causes user frustrations in an organization. So there may be a lot of excessive admin work that takes place. This may well be that someone needs to fill in a paper-based form, and then they need to retype it into an Excel sheet, and they need to send an email, and they need to go and have a meeting. So all of this admin work can take time from someone's day. We may have unrealistic deadlines into place. So there could be an action that needs to be prevented or an action that needs to be corrected, and there's not enough time to do it. That's because there's not been a review of how kind of urgent the issue is, how big the issue is. It's just something that needs to get fixed really quickly. Confusing systems may be in place. So we've worked with a number of organizations that will have lots of different Excel sheets, and they don't know whether to open up a Excel sheet A or Excel sheet B to log the type of issue. It may well be that people put issues into the wrong Excel sheet, for example, and therefore person A is looking to find the issue, but they can't find it because they're opening up a different sheet compared to where the person logged the issue in the first place. So there's just no consistency, no central area to monitor all the data. And finally, a little bit like I mentioned earlier in terms of accountability, it can create a little bit of a blame culture because, again, there's no one that's defined as the accountable person. Therefore, everyone can potentially point fingers at each other. So it's good to have a process in place so you know who is accountable, so that there's not an idea of blame. And again, quality is key. We're not trying to pick faults in people. We're just trying to find a quick and easy and efficient resolution to an issue that might have arisen. So if we do have poor quality management in an organization, obviously it's going to cause a cost. There's time and effort that will go into rework. This could be recreating documents. This could be recreating products. If these products get sent out to market, there could be an issue that you need to recall those products that can lead to damaged reputation, can lead to loss of money. You also have the issue that if you create, let's say, a full day of developing products, and at the end of the day, you notice that there's an issue with every product that you've developed, there's a lot of cost that has gone into putting all of those together. Potentially, you might save some cost by stripping them all down, or they might be things that need to go in the bin. So again, it's wasted funds. Lots of organizations will have lots of different legislations and regulations that they have to work towards. We can specifically imagine people that are building things for the aircraft industry, for example. So if there's any issues with what they're building, they might not meet those regulatory standards. This again could lead to poor reputation and might lead to a loss of contract with one of the big organizations that are purchasing these products that are being made. Again, with any damaged reputation, any issue with contracts that are in place, you might have restrictions in gaining new customers. Word of mouth can sometimes be very damaging to your organization. So again, you want to show that quality is key moving forward. So there's a few different features that you'd be looking for in a CAPA system. A few of them are listed on the page. We'll just pick a few of them out. So essentially, the priority item is to make sure that we're capturing any issues, capturing any data relating to the issues, any documents relating to the issue, and we're storing those and they're easily accessible. All of these will have a history to them, so we'll be able to see, any updates, any changes, and we'll be able to see any associated actions. All of the actions can be assigned to people with automated workflows and notifications that will define, who does that action get given to? If the action's not complete on time, shall we warn someone? Shall we escalate that email if it's been missed, 2 or 3 occurrences? We'll also look at controlling any access to the system, so we'll make sure that there's various role-based security into place, so who can add issues, who can edit issues, etc. We can also then look at reporting and dashboards. What do we get out of the data moving forward so we can start to make fact-based decisions? So has there been 20 issues logged every summertime? If so, is there an issue in the summer compared to the winter? What is that issue? Let's look at the root cause analysis and then put a fix into place to resolve that. And again, all of this should be able to be done on multiple different devices. So be it a desktop PC, a tablet, a mobile device. So anything should be quite responsive down to those devices. So obviously at Valto, our tool of choice is looking at Power Apps. Power Apps, you've got a license of £4.10 per user per month. This is if you're utilizing Dataverse in the background to store your data. In most cases, organizations will be using this, but there are occurrences where we do build and use SharePoint as a data source, especially for some of the smaller organizations that aren't logging too many issues each month and each year. So again, maximum kind of cost, you're looking at £4.10 per user per month, but you could be looking at using Power Apps for SharePoint, which will typically be included within your, let's say, E3 license or Business Premium license that you've already got in place. You need to consider the initial cost of build and deployment. Any system that you go and purchase typically always has a deployment cost into place anyway. You may need to integrate with other systems that you've got into place. So you might need to integrate your issue tracking with some of your financial systems because it might relate to your bill of materials, for example. You might find that there's systems out there. If you purchase a separate system, and you'll see that we've got a few different examples at the base of the slide here. If you purchase one of those systems, you might find that you're actually paying to use 100% of the system, but you only actually need to use 60% of it. So my recommendation when you look at Power Apps is that actually you can build something which is more bespoke for your organization, and you're making sure you're getting something which fits the purpose and fits your exact goal, rather than taking a what I call a square peg round hole situation. So having to change your processes for a tool that you've purchased, or having to buy a massive tool and only use 2 or 3 pages within that tool. It feels a bit redundant if you're doing that. Any solution will have its support and maintenance costs as well. If you're buying multiple different solutions for different purposes, you're having to pay cost and maintenance for all of those various different tools. So as part of an IT strategy, we'll work with a lot of organizations that push everything to Microsoft 365. For example, we worked with a council that they had probably around 125 different systems in the business, and quite early they managed to reduce that by 50% by cancelling lots of contracts and actually building the systems within Microsoft 365. Moving forward, as part of their tenders, they made sure that any integration was in place with Microsoft 365, or the tool was actually based on Microsoft 365. So again, this is a great place to be in moving forward. As we can see, we've got approximately sort of £9 to £20 for various different sort of ISO and quality tracking tools out there as a per user per month basis. So Power Apps actually works out really cost effective for what you want to do. It ensures that you've got all the features that you require. You can use 100% of the features. It's built specifically for you, and it's a cheaper cost. So it's certainly what we would recommend moving forward to manage your quality systems. If you are interested in looking at Power Apps, we do offer a Power Platform scoping workshop. This is something that myself and my team deliver. The idea of the workshop is that we can come into your organization, be it spend time with you over a Teams phone call or spend time with you on site. It's a paid for exercise. It allows us to run through your existing ways of working. It allows us to show you the art of the possible in terms of what can be built within the Power Platform or within SharePoint or the modern workplace within Microsoft 365. We'll understand your goals and objectives, we'll capture all of your requirements, and we'll come back to you with an indication of what a solution can look like moving forward with its cost. We'll also look at phasing these solutions if required. So again, if budget is key, we can look at a phase 1, a minimum viable product, and then move into phase 2, phase 3, so you have more of a strategy moving forward.